All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of Cafe Euro 2020. This show consists of a panel discussion where we will be covering the upcoming games of the Euro 2020 round of 16. I'm joined here by Mr. Priyam Singh, editor at SportsWiki, as well as Aditya Aluwalia. How are you guys doing today?
Good, good. How are
Absolutely
you?
perfect. How are you, Rosh?
I'm great. Excited for today's matches. So let's dive straight into it. Our first showdown is between Czech Republic and the Netherlands. ये मैच Budapest Stadium में होगा, फ्रांसिस पुस्का स्टेडियम टू बी मोर स्पेसिफिक. और अगर हम लाइनअप्स देखते हैं तो नेदरलैंड्स आर प्लेइंग 3-4-1-2, तो उनका काफी होलिस्टिक सा लाइनअप है. So, Mr. Frank de Boer, the manager of Holland, is going with a 3-4-1-2 position, where he has three defenders and four center defensive midfielders, joined by two attackers and an isolated striker. So, Aditya, what do you think of this lineup? Like, what's Holland trying to achieve? Are they going for a more defensive game, or they're trying to play more attacker?
Good question, Rosh. I think that is something that would change according to the situation that a team is stuck in, and I think the opposition that they are against, and about the conditions on the pitch there and then. But I think with such a three-back formation, probably the emphasis is on a more aggressive, a more attacking playing of style. Obviously, I could be wrong, but it's been pretty evident because Netherlands, along with Italy and Belgium, are one of the only three nations जो ग्रुप स्टेज में सारे मैचेस जीते हैं, एंड सबसे ज्यादा गोल्स भी मारे हैं नेदरलैंड्स ने, 8 गोल. And Netherlands has also recovered the third most balls in the tournament, 155 balls भी recover किए हैं. तो ये मुश्किल होगा डिसाइड करना है कि वो ऑफेंसिव गेम जा रहे हैं या डिफेंसिव गेम जा रहे हैं. पर्सनली मुझे लग रहा है कि a little more offensive, क्योंकि 8 गोल मारे हैं, और उनके वैन एंडलम is the second highest goal scorer, 3 गोल उन्होंने मारे हैं. And they also have Malen and Depay, who have जो assist में भी बहुत so yeah, I think that's how I would answer that.
All right. Thank you for that input. And Priyam, would you like to add anything about this Netherlands lineup?
Yes, of course. See, we've seen that Netherlands has more or less been dominating this tournament ever since the inception. And as Adi rightly mentioned, they've been among the very few teams to have won all the 3 games in the competition. As far as the lineup is concerned, as far as the formation is concerned, I believe they will once again stick with the 3-4-1-2, and the two attacking options that they might go with would be Memphis Depay and Weghorst as well. And Gini Wijnaldum can play the attacking midfielder role. Also, they are quite solid in defense, although they've conceded a bit of goals. But I believe that once they are with De Ligt and Blind, they can play a very crucial role in defense as well. So today I believe that Netherlands will be the team to cheer for, and I believe they can win the competition in these 2 games between these 2 teams, because what I believe is that Czech Republic has not been up to their best in the last few games. If we look at the performance in the Euros, they've out of the 3 games that they've played, they've won just 1 game, and they've drawn a game, they've lost a game, and also in the last 6 international games, if you look at their form, they've lost 3 games. So losing 3 games out of the 6 international fixtures that they've played shows that they are not in a good run of form, and that means that Netherlands will go all out attack today. As far as Czech Republic is concerned, I believe that they will be a bit more defensive. Coming to the overall tally between these 2 sides, so basically there's not much to separate between the 2 sides. I believe they've played a total of 11 games so far, and Czech Republic has had the upper hand. But since we have to consider the recent form of both the teams, I believe that Netherlands will easily win this game 2-0 today.
And Rush, if I might might interrupt you in between. Before you move on to the second question, I thought I'll share a couple of insights with our viewers about the Euros, and these are online insights available on obviously Google. So this will interestingly be the first meeting between Netherlands and Czech Republic since October 2015, when Netherlands were beaten 3-2 in the 2016 Euro qualifier, and indeed they have lost each of their last two games against Czech Republic. That's something I did not know. But both qualified for the previous European champions in 2016. So yeah, back to you, Rush.
Yeah, so another thing I want to add about this game. So Aditya, thanks for that insight. If we see in most of the encounters that Czech Republic and Netherlands have had, they've been pretty interesting. They've been pretty close, and they've been deemed as nemesis from many sporting sites. But we've spoken a lot about Netherlands lineup, but I think even Czech Republic also deserves to be discussed about, because their formation is also pretty attackive. They play 4-3-2-1 with an isolated striker who's Schick, and we've seen his heroics already in the Euro. His almost half-time goal against Scotland. And Aditya, back to you. What do you think about the Czech Republic lineup today and how they'll fare against Holland?
Obviously, Rush, we know that they were in a group with England, Scotland, and
Croatia.
Croatia. Thanks. And they had become another victim to the staunch defense of the English side at Wembley, and it goes without saying that the Czech boss Silhavi will need his prime striker of Bayern Leverkusen, Patrick Schick, to be firing cylinders to all corners at the Puskás Stadium. But speaking more beyond Schick, obviously he's the joint second highest goal scorer, 3 goals. 2 of them were hit with his left foot and 1 headed goal. He's got good enough pace. He's also has good physical stats. He's about 6'2" tall, so definitely an aerial threat as well. And looking a little beyond Patrick Schick, we can expect Czech to make a left-back change as Jan Boril picked up his second booking against, I believe, England. So most likely we may see Ale Mathieu come in instead of Boril for the fullback position. And another dilemma that I believe the Czech side will have will be about the supporting midfielder for Tomáš Souček, and I apologize to the viewers if I'm really butchering the pronunciations. Obviously the boss will have a dilemma whether to start with Alex Kettle or Thomas Holtz for that spot. So yes, I think those are a few things that Czech faces a dilemma when going into this game. But a lot of positives to look at. They have a great goal scoring threat. They've made it past the group stages, and I do look forward to seeing them play.
So do I. Now that we have most of our statistics, formation, and everything out of the way for this game, Priyam, I have one interesting question for you. Which player do you think will draw first blood? Which player will open up the scoring for the game? What are your predictions?
Very tough question to answer, I believe, because football can be a cruel game at times. We might see Netherlands dominating the game for 90 odd minutes, and in the injury time, Czech Republic might come up with a goal. So tough question to answer, but I believe that since Netherlands will more or less dictate the pace of this game, I believe Memphis Depay can be that goal scorer for the Netherlands, who will definitely draw the first blood. We've seen that he can run in through corners. He can He can play as a complete centre forward as well. So he can create goals, he can score goals, and he can also drop in between the lines, and that's what his real strength is. As far as Patrick Schick is concerned, I believe that yes, as you rightly mentioned, that goal against Holland from almost about 50. I apologize. That goal against Scotland from 50 yards out was quite outrageous. But more or less in this tournament, we've seen that Czech Republic has been, looking forward only towards Patrick Schick, and football is not just a one-man show. So I believe that since Netherlands has got a much more, I would say, stronger midfield than the Czech Republic, so they'll dictate the pace of this game, and Memphis Depay can surely draw first blood in this game.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Even I had Depay in mind when it comes to first blood for this game. So thank you for that input. And I think Czech Republic and Holland is going to be one exciting one. We've given this game enough time. Now it's time to move on to the main event for the night. Portugal versus Belgium, the returning champs versus probably one of the best international team. So this game will be played in Spain in the Estadio de la Cartuga de Sevilla. So it'll be played in Sevilla. Not familiar ground for either of the players, but still, I'm very excited for this battle. And if you look at the formations, both team actually like going for a 4-3-3. So Aditya, what do you think? What does Belgium need to do to beat Portugal, or what does Portugal? More importantly, what does Portugal need to do to beat Belgium tonight? Any
So,
inputs?
this very interesting question actually, and I had read a little about this. So, uh, the Portuguese manager Santos had spoken a bit about the possible weaknesses that the Belgian Red Devils have, but obviously he did not reveal everything so as to not give out strategies before this very exciting match. So before I move on to the little weakness, I'll obviously acknowledge the strengths of the Belgian formation on the Belgian side. So obviously we look at Courtois, we look at Hazard, we look at Lukaku, De Bruyne. They're very good quality players who have amazing team chemistry, and everything flows really well with them because they've played alongside each other for so many years. And obviously they are also one of those teams that have dominated their group stages. They had a 3-0 win against Russia, a 2-0 win against Finland, and a 2-1 win against Denmark. And one thing actually that Santos, the Portuguese manager himself, recognized that um, as long as the formations go, they can go with something like a 3-4-3, or they can even have five in attack, or even a 3-4-1-2. So it's going to be
Mm,
very difficult for the Portuguese side to, I think, come up with Belgium, who are, as of now, although France are the world champions, Belgium are the highest ranked FIFA team as per points.
exactly.
And also, last thing I'll say about it is that he gave a very ambiguous reply as to that weakness, but all I was able to deduce was that the Red Devils struggled in the come from behind win over Denmark, which led Belgium with only 6 attempts against Denmark, and that opens up possibilities for Fernando Santos to get some strategies for that game. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to see what he has in mind.
Mm. Thank you for that input, Aditya. And I see a poster of a man right beside you. And obviously, if Portugal is playing, we're going to need to talk about him a lot. So, Priyam, what do you think Belgium need to do to stop Ronaldo? He's the top scorer in the league, and I want to hear your inputs on what the plan is to stop Cristiano Ronaldo tonight.
Well, I believe that it would be difficult for Belgium to stop Ronaldo, but I believe that for that Portugal will have to play as a team, which we haven't seen more or less in
Which
this tournament. Because I believe that apart from Ronaldo, Bernardo Silva and Diego Jota will also have to perform. If they do not come up with supportive roles, it will be a lot more difficult for Ronaldo to score, because seen that Cristiano Ronaldo has changed his career, his game style, I would say, in the last 5 to 6 years, he's become a fox in the box, and he waits for the ball to come at
mm,
him, and he'll score. He'll score anywhere from the box. He'll score anywhere outside the box. But for that, their midfield needs to be a lot more stronger. And in that case, I believe Belgium holds the upper hand, because they've got their defense covered. We saw how quickly they can score on counter attacks. We saw that in the game of against Denmark, I believe they scored a tremendous goal, which Kevin De Bruyne scored, obviously. So I believe that it will be very, very difficult for Belgium to stop the threat of Ronaldo. But I also believe that for that to happen, it needs to be a team effort by the Portuguese forwards as well, because we've seen that
mm,
Ronaldo has been some more of a lone wolf for the Portugal national team. And uh, as I mentioned for the previous game, football is not a one-man show, so it cannot always be Ronaldo. We've seen that their midfielders have also not been able to perform in the games, and especially their defensive lineup. I believe in the game against Germany, they were all opened up. From the very first minute of the
Mm.
game, Germany dictated the pace, and the Portuguese defenders had no clue as to whatsoever the German attackers and the German midfielders were going to do against them. So I believe that more of a thrashing could come from Belgium also tonight, because they've got an attacking lineup in their ranks, and I believe that as far as Belgium is concerned, they'll go with a 4-4-2 formation since Eden Hazard has returned. So I believe that they might play Romelu Lukaku and Eden Hazard as their attackers, and then Kevin De Bruyne can slot as the attacking midfielder in that lineup. So I believe that Belgium is going to be the winner tonight. Maybe 2-1, maybe 2-0. Or if the game heads in penalties, we might see a turnaround also. If the game heads in penalties, I believe that Portugal will have the upper hand on Belgium. So, really exciting game, a very big game, and we should not forget that the winner here meets with Italy in the quarterfinals. So, Italy has been on a winning run. They've been performing extremely well. Yesterday, also, we saw a great game of football from their end, and uh, uh, definitely it's going to be one of the most thrilling encounters of Euro 2020 or 2021 to be precise.
Hmm.
Certainly will be. It certainly will be. And one thing I found very interesting in this morning's news is that Belgium don't have a specific plan for Ronaldo. They don't. We've seen this in the past. Each time Cristiano Ronaldo's on the pitch, there's something known as the Ronaldo effect, because there are three, four defenders constantly marking him, and the fact that he's occupying three defenders gives so much more opportunity for rest of his team to work around and maybe get a few goals. But it seems like Belgium is not taking that approach. It's because they don't see Ronaldo as a threat. They see Portugal as a threat. And I think that's a really great approach from Belgium. Like instead of putting all your eggs in one basket, they want to focus around the whole team. And I think another very important thing that Belgium must do is that they have to play a disciplined game against Portugal. If they concede a penalty, Ronaldo will score it. If they concede a free kick, Ronaldo will score it. If they concede a free kick even 35 to 40 yards out, Ronaldo will score it. So all Portugal need to do is just don't give him that opportunity. All Belgium need to do is not give Ronaldo that opportunity to score the penalties and free kicks, which he just doesn't seem to miss.
Hmm.
And
Absolutely.
anyway, um, Aditya, anything else you want to add about tonight's encounter?
Yeah, so I'll actually add, and perhaps after that, Priyam can also give his last inputs before we go back to you. So this Belgium obviously are the best ranked team as per points. They have interestingly bagged 174 goals in the last 58 games with their current party, Roberto Martinez, their manager, and they have lost only 1 out of 10 games in their last major tournament, and that one loss came against France in 2018, courtesy to a header by Umtiti in the second half. And for me, Belgium France was the virtual final that year. And this will interestingly be the first ever major tournament meeting in either UEFA Euro or World Cup between Portugal and Belgium. Portugal are unbeaten against Belgium in the last five encounters, winning three and drawing two. And obviously, Priyam had spoken about Ronaldo, but I thought that we should shed light on other great players that we will be seeing tonight. And first and foremost, that would be the opposing striker for Belgium, Rom. So from Rom, we go to Rom.
Lukaku.
Lukaku, the Inter Milan striker, he has seen amazing goal scoring form with Belgium. He has great physical strength, pace, and tenacity in the box, makes it incredibly difficult for the opposition players to defend against him. And I've find Lukaku to be beyond a striker. He is much more than a target man. This is evident in the performance against Denmark, where Lukaku was key in the build-up for both goals in the Belgium come from behind win. And also, I wanted to go back to that thrilling 3-2 win that they had over Japan in 2018, where Lukaku smartly evaded the ball for Nasser Chadli to tap it in and win that game against Japan in the quarterfinals, I believe. I also thought that I would shed light on the Portuguese defender Pepe. Obviously, if you're not Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi or one of those top-ranked attackers, when you go past the age of 35, there's a lot of spotlight comes off you. Obviously, Pepe has turned 38. He had an outstanding season with Porto. And something a little ironic, actually, he was one of the most instrumental players in Porto's quarterfinal win against Juventus in the Champions League. And he has the most tackles for Portugal, and he has the most balls recovered for Portugal. So he will be one of the key players that Santos will look to obviously stop Lukaku. So really look forward to him. And last but not least, I thought that I should also talk about Thomas Munier. He has already opened his goal scoring tally against Russia. He scored, I think, the first goal of that match. And he's touching 30, and he's one of those fullbacks that's made a name as a goal scoring defender. He has the pace and ability to get into dangerous positions from the flanks, and is a welcome addition to Belgium's already formidable team.
Adi, just one thing to ask to you. I would like to speak about Bruno Fernandes because we've seen
Yeah.
what he can do with Manchester United in the last season. We've been seeing that he's been performing exceptionally well for the club. But when it comes to international football, when it comes to international teams, we haven't seen such sort of exploits from Bruno Fernandes. And most likely, I believe that today he will not be starting for Portugal. I may say so, if I may say so. So, what do you think? How integral a part Bruno Fernandes is to that Portugal squad? And if he starts tonight, what do you think? What sort of a role can he play for the team to win against Belgium?
Yes, very good question, Priyam. And yeah, you're means undeniably right that he had an outstanding run in the Premier League. I believe he had 29 goal contributions in about 36, 37 games. And Priyam, I don't think that I can properly answer that, but I would have to say that it has something to do with the team chemistry that he has with the Manchester United players, vis-a-vis the team chemistry that he currently has with his Portuguese colleagues. Obviously, he has Diogo Jota, who also plays alongside the Premier League, but for a completely opposing club. So I think there's the chemistry, and the chemistry thing is, I think, what's lacking in his performance. And to answer the second part of the question, if he were to start, I would say that he would satisfy the role not of an attacking midfielder that he has in Manchester United, but as a playmaker, someone who is a rock solid midfielder, equally or maybe slightly more involved in the attacking scheme and more and less in the defense. Being a playmaker, supplying those balls to the wing, supplying it to Jota and Ronaldo,
Ronaldo.
being an efficient passer, a good dribbler, and an all-in-all playmaker. I would say
Mm.
that would be his role in Portugal. What do you think? What role do you think he would satisfy?
I
I
absolutely
also
agree with. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please go ahead.
I also believe that he'll play more of a playmaker today, but it will be tough for him to start because they've got a stacked midfield, obviously, and since he's not been performing up to that level, what he's been doing with Manchester United, I believe that he might come in the game later on as a substitute if Portugal are on a losing run in that game. So I believe that more of his exploits will only be seen in this game if Portugal are losing, and we might see that Fernando Santos might substitute him for a playmaker's role. But more or less, I believe that he won't be in the starting 11 tonight. And as far as Belgium is concerned, I believe a lot more spotlight will be there on Eden Hazard as well because we've seen
Mm.
that ever since he's gone to Real Madrid, he's been more or less he's been injured and he's not been performing. So that price tag obviously has been questioned more often than not. And in tonight's game against Portugal, I believe he can really show up his caliber. What he did with Chelsea was unimaginable, and same was expected out of him in Real Madrid as well. But we've seen that he's been on the victim line for all those tackles that he has had to face in the last couple of seasons, and more or less he's been dealing with injuries. So a lot more onus will be there on Eden Hazard as well, especially his brother in the side, Thorgan Hazard, playing in this game as well. So I believe that they both can combine and can be a really threatful opposition for the Portuguese defenders. We've seen that in the game against Germany that they open up quite easily, and today Thorgan Hazard can do that for Belgium as well.
Yarush, were you adding any inputs?
Yes, back to the Bernardo talk, and I think Priya mentioned how impactful he can be as a sub. This reminds me of Germany's encounter against Hungary, where Joachim made two very key substitutions when they were down, when they were tested. He brought in the youngster Musiala from the FC Bayern academy. He was only 18, and he started on along with Goretzka, who was a midfielder. The moment we saw this new energy enter the pitch, they brought a whole new aura to the team, and within 5 minutes, who knew it? The subs only made a goal. So, what I want to see from Portugal is that they could use Bernardo as a good super sub, as a very impactful super sub, and I really look forward to seeing that. And if you go back to the talk on Eden Hazard, where there's so much of spotlight on him, let me remind you that Hazard was brought to Madrid after they lost Ronaldo. So I think it's really interesting to see if Hazard could play up to mark as Ronaldo, and he'll be playing against him tonight. So I think this will be one heavyweight encounter, and I look really forward to it.
And
so is there anything?
Yeah, it was not Bernardo. It was Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno Fernandes, yeah.
Yes, that's it.
So is there anything you guys would like to add before we conclude today's show?
I just wanted to ask that who do you think will score the first goal in this match?
It has to be Cristiano Ronaldo, because I am a huge fan, and although we know that Belgium have a much more attacking lineup than Portugal in this game, but I believe that Cristiano Ronaldo is the fox in the box. He can do it with his strength. He can shoot from outside the box. He can score a header from inside the box. He can do it from anywhere on the pitch. And there are really very few players in the world of football at the moment who can do that. I believe there's a reason he's among the best in the world, and it is because of his goal-scoring exploits. I have not seen a more poacher of a striker than him in the last few years. Yes, Robert Lewandowski has fulfilled that role for Bayern Munich, but I believe that the goal-scoring options that Ronaldo has with him, I don't see any other player doing that in world football at the moment. So, since I'm a huge fan, I believe Cristiano Ronaldo is going to be that man. But if we think analytically, Romelu Lukaku can also draw first blood tonight, because he's also grown a lot more ever since his transfer into Inter Milan, and I believe that Antonio Conte has turned him into a real beast. So as you rightly mentioned in that game against Denmark, the Kevin De Bruyne goal, nowhere it was to be a goal, but the way Lukaku threw in that ball from the right flank, it was absolutely phenomenal, because he dealt with it very physicality. He dealt with it very physically stronger than the opposition defender, and I believe that was the crucial point in a game. Had Romelu Lukaku given up on that ball, I believe that game would have ended in a draw. So Romelu Lukaku can also draw first blood tonight, and so can Cristiano Ronaldo. What about you, Adi? What do you think?
Yeah, Priyam, obviously Ronaldo is a very very good choice to go with, because obviously 6 goal contributions in 3 matches, and so is Lukaku. But I'm going to go for a different answer. So both another thing that both of these teams have common is that their fullbacks have scored goals. We have Thomas Meunier from Belgium and Guerreiro from Portugal. So I think with so many people giving a lot of emphasis to the strikers and the spotlight and the main attention being around them, I believe that Guerreiro from Portugal could sneak a goal. I think that he could draw first blood. What do you think, Rosh?
For me, I think it's going to be a perfect counter attack from Portugal, and it'll be Ronaldo scoring the first goal. We've seen it happen so many times. I'm pretty sure it'll happen tonight as well. And just how Priyam said, his goal scoring ability is unmatched in Europe so far. So I think on that note, we could conclude today's show. And thank you, Priyam. Thank you, Aditya, for joining us tonight. And we will be back tomorrow and for the rest of this Euro to cover all the interesting games.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.